Hi, I'm Dr. Neil Moe from Singlebestanswer.com. I'm a consultant rheumatologist and I was formerly the lead for Final MB written exams at Imperial College School of Medicine. I have the job of creating the whole finals exam and was solely responsible for choosing every single question, so I know exactly what goes into those exams. Today I'm going to share my top tips for passing your UK medical licensing assessment. This video is divided into two parts. First, I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to tackle single exam questions. Then afterwards, 3 more tips about the approach to the whole exam in general. Tip 1. Understand the question. You will have been advised to always read the question, but you need to do more than that. You need to understand it. A single best answer question comprises of a stem, which is usually the clinical story, plus your investigations, a leading question, and then 5 possible answers. Read the question carefully and work out what the lead-in is trying to ask you. For example, it might be a 2-step question where it's asking about the single best test, but you need to figure out the likely diagnosis first. Tip 2. The stem is all relevant. The author is not trying to trick you or set a trap. As authors, we are instructed to avoid using terms such as not or never, so you shouldn't come across a question such as which one of these treatment options are not suitable. Form an impression in your mind. Answer the question as it is written. Some students will skim read half the stem and go straight to the lead-in. I'd advise you to read the whole stem methodically and understand what the author is trying to ask you. If you have understanding, you have a much better chance of finding the correct answer. Tip 3. Use the cover test. The cover test is where you provide an answer without looking at the potential options. Now, you might not always be able to do that, but that's fine. Take a look at the answers in that case and choose the one that you think is the best fit. Trust your gut instinct and see if your preferred answer is the best fit. To be sure, take a look at the other options, but your mindset should be, is there a better option amongst the others that's a better fit? Instead of, I'm eliminating the wrong answers one by one until there's only one left. Potentially, they're all plausible answers to some degree, but one will be more likely than all the others. The way the questions have been written is to evaluate your skills at picking the best answer from 1 or 2 main distractors. It's called single best answer for a reason. Tip number 4 is move on quickly. If you can't answer the question, flag it and come back to it, especially if it looks like you have no idea what's going on. Do not try and spend too much time on a single question. If none of the options stand out, then flag the question and move on. This is as much exam psychology rather than anything else. On exam day, your adrenaline will be running, and you know that feeling when you have a few bad questions in a row? I certainly do. It can really rock your confidence if that happens at the start of the paper. So take a deep breath, flag the question and move on quickly. Find a question that you can settle on with confidence and then get on a roll. You will be in a much better headspace to answer those flag questions later. Remember, you need to stay calm and stick to a methodical approach. Answering the easier questions first will give you more time for the harder ones later, and you won't feel like you're trying to play catch up. Tip 5 is be decisive. Once you've decided on your answer, and you're as sure as you can be, move on and don't go back and change it, unless you suddenly remember a specific piece of knowledge that convinces you to change your mind. Usually your first instinct is the correct one. Avoid double checking your answers. Just try to answer them correctly the first time. Flipping between 2 possible answers wastes time and energy. Save your time for the questions that you have flagged. Remember, you want your mind to be calm and clear when tackling these questions. Tip 6 is avoid obscurity. The exam is designed to test essential skills and knowledge of important presentations and conditions. Knowing too much or too little can be dangerous. Top students might overthink the answer and take themselves away from the correct answer just because they know it doesn't apply 100% of the time. Remember, the single best answer might only apply 80 to 90% of the time, but it's better than the distractor that's only applicable 50% of the time. Ask yourself, which option does the examiner expect that passing students would select if they were getting this question right? Well, that concludes my tips for passing your UKMLA exam. Head over to singlebestanswer.com for a resource specifically designed for this exam and check out our YouTube channel. Good luck.